Yes, Majority Leader. The teacher's name. The teacher's name. Oh. Boadi. Boadi. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think Hansard has captured everything that I wanted to say. So, and in conclave, we all stated our positions. I think everybody knows what the position is. So, Mr. Speaker, go ahead and let's know what your decisions on the matter.
Very well. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, it is my case that the invitation by you, the invitation by the Majority Leader to you to deny me the opportunity to use a dispatch box to ask my question is not founded on any rule. Mr. Speaker, I've come through the rules where the standing orders intends to make something mandatory. It says so in express terms. I've read Order 88.2. Order 88.2. It provides, and the title of that is Manner of Asking and Answering Questions. It provides that the members called shall rise. It didn't say shall rise in his place. In this order, where the rule wants a member to rise in his place, it says so. It says that the member shall rise and ask the question. That stands in the name of the member on the order paper. Mr. Speaker, there is no such express provision that when you file a question and the minister is here to answer, the member must necessarily stand in his place before asking. More so when the question is in the name of the leader of a caucus. Mr. Speaker, I have said it time without number that this dispatch box is for this side of the house. This dispatch box to your left is our dispatch box. Leaders, the five of us, including any member on our side, that with our leave, with the indulgence of Speaker, and so granted leave.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
I'm not. I will allow you whatever you want to say.
Yes.
But because I am being called upon to make a ruling, I need to understand the gravamen of the issue. Now you read Order 88.2. Is that not so? Which says that the member called shall rise and ask the question. So the operative word used here is the member. So if you are putting a proper interpretation on it, this membership is not limited to Majority Leader or Minority Leader. So by a proper interpretation, we just want to understand. Very well, very well. We want to get everything clear.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with respect, Mr. Speaker, with respect, I have submitted that this dispatch box is for those to your left. And those to your left constitute the minority. And I've said that the very provision 88 does not contemplate that a member must necessarily stand in his or her place. More so when that member is a leader. Mr. Speaker, a leader or the leaders of the caucus can proceed to use the dispatch box bona fide. 2, with the leave of the speaker, colleagues from the side here can use this dispatch box. Because, Mr. Speaker, it is ours, no standing order. There is no, this whole book, there is no provision that limits the use of this dispatch box. Now, if we want to invoke practice, I have heard somebody say that no leader use the dispatch box to ask a question. With respect, we may check the records. The respected member, J.H. Mensah, who has been summoned to the parliament above, used the dispatch box. In fact, at no point did he use his seat. Mr. Speaker, I have checked the records. And even if there is no precedence, it is my submission that there is no such rule that stops a leader from asking a question from the dispatch box. Mr. Speaker, is there any express rule that says that ministers, when they come here, they must use the dispatch box? But it is presumed that ministers may not even be members of parliament, and once they come here, they would have to address us from the dispatch box. Mr. Speaker, it is also presumed that the vice president, who can participate in our debate, upon coming here, will use the dispatch box, though such has not been used before. But if he or she comes, that is where they will use. Mr. Speaker, so this issue of all of a sudden the dispatch box on our side, not that we are crossing to use the dispatch box of the majority side, not that I'm crossing or any member wants to cross to use here. They say, hey, there is no precedent, the rule must be interpreted, and that this is only for statements and other things, not for questions. Mr. Speaker, I would want you to decline this invitation. However, if you want to make a ruling to, as it were, honor the majority leader, so be it. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader says that today it will not happen. He has said that publicly, that it won't happen. Mr. Speaker, I believe most humbly that it is not the majority leader who presides. Therefore, if he is making an application, that application must be made to you. But to add that it will not happen is more or less to prejudice the outcome or the very application that he's made. And that I find very strange. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude with the precedents in the Commonwealth. Mr. Speaker, we are all aware of the UK Parliament, and we watch the US Congress. Mr. Speaker, it is not out of place, particularly in the UK Parliament, for the opposition leader in Parliament to use the dispatch box for her submissions. Mr. Speaker, it is done. I do not see all this hula baloo about dispatch box. I conclude by saying that if members on the majority side are saying that, well, they find it quite strange to have the dispatch box. So today, Mr. Speaker, they say it won't happen, they won't allow. As though they have the power to allow or disallow. But they've said it for the records, that they will not allow. And I believe that it is that insistent pressure that gave rise for you to suspend so that we go. Mr. Speaker, they were mentioning Order 115. I've read 115 as well. Nowhere in that 115 is talking about a specific issue to say that when it comes to question. Mr. Speaker, we have to be very clear. Mr. Speaker, maybe I would want to read the 115. It talks about subject to the discretion of the Speaker. And Order 1693B, a member who intends to speak shall rise in the member's place and address the chair while standing only after catching the eye of the Speaker. So what that even means is that, Mr. Speaker, there is a discretion. There is a discretional provision there where even the Speaker can allow a member to speak from a place other than his place. That is why that proviso is there. Mr. Speaker, why then will a member, after you've allowed me to proceed to ask my questions, rise to say that he is challenging the discretion you've exercised? Because obviously you had granted me the opportunity to ask a question. And even if we are going by 115, the issue of discretion comes to play. Meaning that if the Speaker allows, and in this case, it is the leader who is asking his question. So if the Speaker says that instead of B, the man prefers to use a dispatch box, why would a member rise and say that it cannot be done? Which particular order? What is the order that he relied upon, which expressly say that when you are asking a question, it must only be at your place? There's nothing like that in the rules book. Mr. Speaker, I leave it to you, because whatever ruling you give would be for the records and for posterity. I so submit.
Thank you very, very much. Majority Leader, you indicated you've raised your point. Is there any issue you want to respond to?
Mr. Speaker, I just want to clarify that I know you, and I know you are not a person who can be intimidated by anybody on either side of the House. Mr. Speaker, I'm not the first person or the first leader to defy you and say, I will not accept. Just last week, when I read the business statement, they asked questions, and it was getting elongated and time wasting. You ruled that business statement period should end and we should proceed to commence public business. He led his side. They defied all the rules of this house. They stood, they stamped their feet, they made noise, and made it impossible for you to run this house until you change your decision and allow them to continue asking questions. He did that. He did that. Today, he thinks that by me also saying that I will not allow that to happen, I am intimidating you, or I am setting the agenda. I've made it very clear, Mr. Speaker, that if his style of leadership is anything to go by, I also have men behind me and women behind me. And I'm saying that we must all learn to give in. We can't run a system in which we will never give in. We can't run a system like that. So I'm saying that enough is enough. And I'm saying that today, this side of the house will not allow him to go to the dispatch box and ask his questions. Because he himself, in espousing his position, has not lent it to be established by any rule. No rule. No rule. I have been in this house for at least 16 years. I have seen not less than 4 leaders. None of them in my life in this house ever walked there to ask a simple question. He has been in this house since the parliament began, I believe. Let him get up and tell us whether for the whole period that he was here, he saw any leader go there and ask questions. Mr. Speaker,
we listen to Akpejo in silence.
So, Mr. Speaker, my position hasn't changed. I'm saying that this, you see, when he is acting on behalf of his caucus, when you are acting on behalf of your caucus, and we all see it, it happens every day. When, for instance, the budget is presented, and all of you debate the budget, and it's a turn of leaders to go and sum up the debate and advance the course of their sides. I've been in this house, and every budget that has been presented, the leaders go to the dispatch box to sum up the arguments of their sides. The same way I've been in this house and I've seen.
Honourable members, can we have some order? Let's listen to each other in silence. After him, if you have a submission to make, just rise on your feet. I will recognize you.
Anytime the state of the nation is presented to this house and we vote on the motion to thank the president, at the conclusion of the debate, both leaders go there and then they conclude the debate. I've seen that. 16 years of my life in this chamber. I'm sure 20, 25 years of your life in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, I have been here for long to see that every week, every leader of this house has presented their report on the business of the house from the dispatch box. I have seen that. But as for every leader, the minority leader walking there every day to ask his questions, I have not seen it before. I haven't seen it before. And it won't start when I am leader in this house. It won't start. So please, if you are acting on behalf of your caucus, you go there. if you are asking a question as you, Honorable Afayoma, can asking a question as any other ordinary member of this House, you will stand there and ask the question, because even I, when I'm asking a question, I will stand here and ask the question.
Yes. Before coming to you, Honorable Nitiwul, you've been a leader in this House before. Do you have a position on this issue? I'll come to you. No, sometimes some members may not be aware. When I came to this House in 2013, he was a deputy leader.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know why I'm doing drawing to this, but I want to say that I don't know why I'm doing drawing to this. I'm sitting myself and minding my business. And then suddenly I'm being drawn into this thing. But Mr. Speaker, I think that we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves. Parliament is a mass of its own. We should be flexible in dealing with ourselves. Otherwise, if we are rigid in dealing with ourselves, tomorrow we'll rue it. We'll have serious problems in this House. Because I have examples of judgments I always addressing here. But during my time, I didn't. Neither the chairman was my boss. We didn't do that. So if you are a member of Parliament, especially from 2000, you may not see people addressing. But Judge Mensah in court time, he usually took a certain posture that he wanted a certain atmosphere about leadership. And because of that, he almost always tried to address Parliament through the box. So it depends on how we in Parliament here we want to carry ourselves going forward. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that we should not be too hard on ourselves. I came in 2002, and I came and met him. So he will know better. He said that he will know better. But Mr. Speaker,
I've heard you. I've heard you.
But Mr. Speaker, as I said, Mr. Speaker, as I said, we should not be too hard. We should not be too hard on ourselves. And like I said, if you ever watch Judge Mensah's time from '96 when he was minority leader, he almost always addressed Parliament from here.
Yes, that one.
And so that precedence is there.
Yes.
So it is not true that no, it's not been done. It's been done, but others decide that they will not do it, and so it doesn't mean that people are not doing. So, Mr. Speaker, that is what I have to say about this. Thank you.
Very well. We've seen Judge Mensah addressing, but we'll have to make some distinction between addressing and asking questions. Yes, I will come to you. Minority, okay. Yes, let me hear from.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
The most senior.
Mr. Speaker, leaders of this House have made several interventions whenever there is a debate. And they have made their interventions from where they sit, except when there's conclusion of the debate on the State of the Nation address, or the conclusion of the debate on a budget. For leaders to use the dispatch for questions at the end of 2028, I would have been here for 32 years. I haven't seen one. Judge Mensah from 1997 never used the dispatch box to ask questions. He never did. And therefore, if leaders want to say that they always want to use the dispatch box, what it means is that Mr. Speaker, if the minority leader wants to use the dispatch box to ask questions, what it means, in other words, is that any intervention he wants to make, he will use the dispatch box. And it will be reducing the value of the use of the dispatch box. And therefore, this is a simple matter that I don't see any need for the minority leader to litigate over, particularly on the day he is mourning.
You are mourning and you are litigating.
I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Can I? Speaker, I think the matters have been dealt with largely, but just to make this point strong, at the risk of being repetitive, Speaker, if you read 88 and 115, the combined effect, the effect of it is that there's no direct provision that says that you should rise at your place and ask your question. There is none. Now, we as a parliament, we also need to be progressive. Now, if you read these new standing orders, there are provisions in the standing order that seek to cure difficulties that we've been encountering over the years. For instance, there's an explicit provision for winnowing. We didn't have anything like that. There is an express provision under 93(8) that gives a mandate to the clerk of parliament to make copies of an admitted statement available to members. We didn't have this. Now, Leader, you made a profound statement that I think I want to remind you, maybe refresh your memory. And I'm such a person that when you are speaking, I pay good attention. You made the point that we defied the Speaker the other time, and we insisted on our way. Speaker, Leader, these were your statement. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said, and I'm quoting you, when your father makes a mistake in the market, you don't embarrass him openly. And I say to ask, what was the meaning of that? You said that in a certain context. You made that statement in a certain context. And the meaning was so clear to me that something went wrong on that day, and you were just diplomatic. So if we had insisted on our right, it was not a manner to defy the Speaker, but it was just to ensure that the right thing is being done. Leader, with respect to you, I want to ask you one question. When it's rhetorical.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Speaker, I address you.
The rules are clear as to how a question can be asked a member.
Speaker, I was supposed.
You can ask a member a question,
Speaker,
but the rules are clear.
The road minister keeps threatening me with his gaze.
And he has no money to pay for.
And he has left his ministry always in the chamber. Contractors are looking for him. Anyway, I have not invited you to the argument. Speaker, the points which the leader made are found profound. Ministers who are not members of parliament, they come here and they use the dispatch. Ministers. Now, leader, when you say that when the minority leader is acting on behalf of the caucus, then he is permitted to use the dispatch board. There's a thin line between acting on behalf of the caucus and also acting as a representative. Now, leader, you are not listening. So listen to me. So there are some members on the majority side who are here. I don't want to mention any names. And you need to be paying attention to members of the majority who are sitting at this side of the house. So when you are insisting that, so let me conclude. When the leader is insisting that, when the minority leader is acting on behalf of the caucus, then he is permitted to use the dispatch box. I humbly want to find out from our respected leader, can he reference the orders to justify his claim? He cannot. He cannot, leader. Leader, you cannot.
Well, then I'm getting clarity. Can you also reference an order that says that when you are going to ask a question as a minority leader, you must use the dispatch box?
Speaker, the interpretation of the orders is in your motion.
Very well, very well.
I'm saying,
very well.
To the extent that there is no express provision, then one cannot. The point of the minority leader is that because there is no express provision, the majority leader cannot so moto decide for the House.
So, very well. Honourable members,
especially when he says that his side will not allow.
Honourable members,
that's a show of an aggression, and we should not be entertaining that.
Honourable members, I think I have adequately listened to both sides of the House. Honourable members, Honourable Nitiwood, with all due respect, I intend not to give you the floor again. I have given you the opportunity to speak on the issue. Honourable Roxon, Honourable Chief Whip, please resume your seat. Honourable Chief Whip, Honourable Chief Whip. Honourable members, reference has been made to two provisions in our standing orders. First is Standing Order 115, which reads, subject to the discretion of the Speaker, and Order 1693B, a member who intends to speak shall rise in the member's place and address the chair while standing only after catching the eye of the Speaker. Here, there is an expression relating to the discretion of the Speaker and a member rising at his place to address the chair. Exception has been made to this rule by the proviso to Order 1693B. What then is Order 1693B is saying? Our members, let's look at Order 169 together. B states, a member may sit at any seat convenient for the purpose of participating in the consideration stage, which means that regarding 115, the only way you will choose to sit at your convenience is when we are at the consideration stage of a bill. Honourable members, it is clear that the practice is you rise at your place to catch the eye of the Speaker, except when we are at the consideration stage of a bill. Now, Order 88, 1 states, at question time, the Speaker shall call successively each member in whose name a question stands on the order paper. 2, the member called shall rise and ask the question that stands in the name of the member on the order paper. Reference is made to 88.2, which I will take again. The member called shall rise and ask the question that stands in the name of the member on the order paper. Honourable members, this provision is not saying that the member called should rise and move to the dispatch box. It states clearly that the member called shall rise and ask a question that stands in the name of the member on the order paper. Honourable members, if you interpret this particular order to mean that you can have the right to use the dispatch box as argued, then it means that any member who has a question to ask, when the member is called upon to ask the question, that member has a right to move to the dispatch box to ask the question. Honourable members, I do not think that is the intent of the rules. I owe fidelity to the law. I cannot interpret this particular provision to mean if a member is called upon to ask a question, you won't rise at your place to ask the question, but you have to move to ask the question. Honourable members, let's get the distinction clear. When a leader of the House is making a ceremonial speech, the ceremonial speech is making it in his capacity as the leader of the House. If a leader of the House is concluding a debate, the conclusion of the debate is on behalf of the entire House. It may be a state of the nation, debate on the state of the nation, or a debate of the budget. You are doing that on behalf of the House. Therefore, if you file a question as a member of Parliament representing a good people of Akachi South constituency, though I am a Speaker of Parliament, I'll have to rise at my place to ask the question, because I am not acting as in my capacity as the Speaker, but I'm acting in my capacity as the representative of the people. Honourable members, Standing Order 5 is very clear, if I may read. 5.1. Subject to the provisions of the Constitution and any other enactment, where there is doubt, this order shall be interpreted by Mr. Speaker. 2. In any case not provided for in these orders, Mr. Speaker shall decide on a procedural question. 3. In exercising the power conferred under this order, Mr. Speaker shall act in accordance with the Constitution. Having taken the totality of the circumstances into consideration, my rule is that any member who is acting in his representative capacity, but not in a capacity of the caucus, would have to rise at the member's place. If it is question, you ask the question. If it is debate, you do your debate. Accordingly, I rule that minority leader would have to rise at his place and ask the question. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to rule on the issue. So, Minority Leader, you have the floor. Question numbered 6A.
Mr. Speaker, let me say to you that as a Democrat, my job is to respect this new precedence by you for the guidance of the House. We act not for today, but for tomorrow. Therefore, if that is the pleasure of the Speaker, so be it. What is ahead of us is unknown. So this is good to guide the unknown. I thank you. Mr. Speaker, that said, I proceed to ask the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry what progress has been made in the development of a comprehensive national agro-industry policy and how the ministry intends to ensure that this policy translates into value addition, improved market access, and export-led growth for Ghana's agricultural sector.
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry has initiated the development of a national agribusiness policy. The strategic focus of this policy is linked to value addition and extension of selected strategic value chains across the country. Consequently, a key highlight of the policy is to develop local resources of sustainable high-quality agro-industrial raw materials, to strengthen the manufacturing sector and reduce reliance on foreign imports. Indeed, a 60,000-acre land has been earmarked in Yeji and its surroundings to promote sustainable feeding of industry through large-scale contract farming, even before the launch of the policy. Mr. Speaker, in line with the implementation of the 24-hour-plus economic policy, the National Agribusiness Policy, as noted by His Excellency the President, will aim to facilitate rather than dominate investment in the development of agro-industrial parks across the country in order to stimulate and enhance agro-based value chains. In view of this, the policy will facilitate investment into establishment of agro-industrial zones in Tamale, Salaga, Kintampo North, among others. Additionally, the Buza Agro-Industrial Park has been proposed for support under the Big Push program. Mr. Speaker, as part of efforts to deepen stakeholder engagement and drive momentum behind the development of the policy, the Ministry will convene a high-level agribusiness forum on the 24th of July 2025, with the President in attendance to underscore the national importance of this initiative. The forum will serve as a platform for gathering strategic insight and validating priorities. A follow-up stakeholder engagement will be held a week after the forum to consolidate the input received and build broad consensus ahead of the policy's finalization. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Any supplementary question?
Mr. Speaker, before I proceed to my supplementary question, may I draw your attention to a matter which I would pray you to make a determination. Mr. Speaker, I have come through the rules. There is no such express provision that allows a Minister of State to use the dispatch box to answer questions. Mr. Speaker, since we are in an era of insisting on the rules, I just want to bring this to your attention. It is for Speaker to make a determination as to whether or not a Minister of State can at all times use the dispatch box to answer questions. That said, and counting on your ruling on this matter for the records, I proceed with my first supplementary question.
But you've asked You raise an issue. Instead of asking a supplementary question, you raise an issue. You can resume your seat. We'll resolve
Mr. Speaker, I want
issue.
You to rule on
yes, yes.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with respect, I want you and I to maintain a certain tempo. You are talking to me. Let me get back to you. I'm saying that I raise the issue for your consideration. If it's your pleasure that you make the determination, which indeed was my prayer, it's fair. So
yes, but in making the statement,
yes,
you said you are raising it for my determination.
That is correct.
Yes, by practice, any issue raised for a determination of the speaker, if a member is on his feet, you grant audience to that particular member.
That's
then
fine.
You can proceed to make your determination. So kindly resume your seat. Let me hear the member on his feet.
That's no problem, Mr. Speaker.
So that I can make the determination appropriately.
It is fair.
Yes.
Hear him, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, yes. Yes, Honorable Dafamoko.
Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, in answer to the issue raised by the minority leader regarding the non-provision of the place for answering questions by ministers, Speaker, Order 88 is very clear. Please, I listen to him quietly. Order 88 of our standing orders, Mr. Speaker, the head note of that order is to this effect: manner of asking and answering question. Speaker, 88.5, I should say, provides for the manner that the question be answered. It reads, the answer to the question shall be read by the minister, member, or head of the independent constitutional body to whom the question is directed. Mr. Speaker, so the question to you, that the rules do not provide a place for the minister to stand and answer this question, is moot. It's moot. Mr. Speaker, because by practice, unless, please. Mr. Speaker, please, I listen to your leader in quietude. So it's important you also listen to me in quietude. Oh, this is the symbol for Osahene proper. Mr. Speaker, so the question the minority leader seeks to ask you, that in the absence of a specific provision detailing where the Minister of State should rise and respond to the questions, is moot, because by practice the ministers ordinarily speaks and answers to questions from the dispatch box ordinarily, and on special occasions such as the provision and the ceremonial speeches, they speak and address the House from the dispatch box. So the minister responsible for trade and agro-business in this House, as we speak, is here in her capacity as Minister of State to respond to questions posed by members. If she were here in her capacity as a member of Parliament, she would have taken her proper seats. So the minority leader, with all due respect to him, must have recourse to the practices of this House, as well as the standing orders of this House, to have effect on the business that we conduct. And the conventions, they all fall under practices.
Honourable Member, conclude.
So, Mr. Speaker, let me conclude by urging you that the present request by the minority leader for you to give direction is totally needless, because by practice the direction has already been provided. I thank you for the opportunity.
Well, honourable members, Few minutes ago, I delivered a ruling. Minority Leader is calling on me to again rule based on not having express provision in our rules. I recall in delivering my ruling, I quoted Order 5 verbatim. Probably some members did not listen to me. I'll quote it again. Order 5.1. Subject to the provisions of the Constitution and any other enactment, where there is doubt, this order shall be interpreted by Mr. Speaker. 2. In any case not provided for in this order, Mr. Speaker shall decide on procedural question. Honorable members, though the Honorable Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry is a member of Parliament, she is not here to answer questions as a member of Parliament. She is here in a capacity as a minister responsible for trade, agribusiness, and industry. Honorable members, we all have a place to rise and speak. But ministers do not have a place to rise and speak. The only place available for the minister is to sit by the leader and use the dispatch box to answer the question. Therefore, if you are talking about a member rising at his place and speak, this cannot be applicable to a minister. I recall Lord Denny once said, the law is about common sense, and common sense is the law. The only place available for a minister is to use the dispatch box. So I so rule that the minister or ministers that will come to the House can use a dispatch box in responding to questions. So, Minister, you have a right to use the dispatch box to answer your question. Any supplementary question? Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Thank you for your two rulings. Mr. Speaker, the second invitation to you was to the effect that there be no express provision. There be no express provision. You should make a determination. You've just told us that common sense is the law. Mr. Speaker, previously it was a rule where there was no express provision. But now, when there was no express provision, common sense has applied. Mr. Speaker, we have heard, and shall we yield in obedience to this new precedent? Mr. Speaker, common sense is the rule. Mr. Speaker, may the minister confirm whether the policy includes targeted support for smallholder farmers and agro-processors, particularly in rural areas, to ensure inclusive participation in the value chain.
Honorable Minister, you have the floor. Honorable Minister, do you want him to repeat the question? Yes. Honorable Member, repeat your question. Please repeat your question.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, this afternoon you are in a mood of rules. I've asked my question. If the minister wants clarity, she should use the
Honorable Member, I preside over the House.
Yes.
I don't like a situation where the minister tries to talk across.
Very well.
That is why I ask, do you want the honorable member to repeat the question, and when she said yes, I said repeat the question. This one too, are we going to
Mr.
argue
Speaker,
over
I've not
it?
heard her make that request for the record.
I am
That's why I
asking
asked
you to repeat your question.
Very well, then so be it. Mr. Speaker, if her side will be quiet, they will hear. The minister and her leader should tell the backbench to at least be quiet so that the minister can hear. He set fire and then he went to have his lunch. He's back to set another fire.
Honorable Minority Leader, the simple request I made is repeat your question.
Mr. Speaker, that is so, but the backbench must be quiet so that the minister can hear. And the leader of government business must tell his backbench to be quiet. He set fire in the house, he left, he's back. If he wants to set fire again, so be it, he should. Mr. Speaker, to ask the minister to confirm whether the policy includes targeted support for smallholder farmers and agro-processors, particularly in rural areas, to ensure inclusive participation in the value chain.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the policy does not include smallholder farmers. That is in the domain of the Ministry of Agriculture. What we do is commercial contract farming, and that applies to huge hectares of land. That is what the policy takes care of. But for small agro-processors, yes, they are included in the policy. Thank you very much.
Any further question?
Rightly so, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the minister was very loud in telling us that so far it is only Techima, that this policy has commenced. May I know from the minister what informed the selection of Techima as the first place for implementation of this policy and not in Boko? Not
yes,
Honorable in any Minister. Other place in Ghana. You said Techima. That is what you said.
Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my answer to Honorable Osahene Alexander Kwame Na Afenyo-Markins did not include the starting of any project in Techiman, and my answer did not include Techiman. I thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, with respect.
Any further question?
Mr. Speaker, that is so. This is a House of Records. This is the House of Records. Madam Minister, what informed your choice of Techiman for the acquisition of land? When there are other places, can you tell us how you came by selecting Techiman for land acquisition? Share with us how you came by only Techiman.
So, Honorable Minister, this question this time round is on selection Techima for acquisition of land.
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, I repeat myself. My answer did not mention Techiman, and it's here. You can play back the answer I gave. I did not mention Techiman. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker,
Honourable members, order.
The minister is a lawyer, and she knows the consequences.
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, I leave the consequences to her. The record will bear me out. Mr. Speaker, can the minister share with us, by way of clarity, the role of district-level industrial zones or agro-processing hubs in the operationalization of the policy, and whether timelines have been set for the establishment?
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Because the MP for Efutu mentioned the fact that I'm a lawyer and I know the consequences. I have to indicate that I am a lawyer and I know what I say. And I'll answer questions that have been asked. I will not go beyond a question that have been asked. He asked Techiman, and once Techiman was not mentioned, I end there. Techiman was not mentioned, and I repeat myself. You can look at the Hansard when it's done. Then my next one. Yes, Mr. Speaker, the policy dialogue will start on the 24th of July. I thank you for this question because it's giving me the opportunity to also apprise Ghanaians what we are doing. And to tell you that the dialogue will start on the 24th. It is when the dialogue starts that we do the policy, that we have the timelines to execute our policy. But before the timelines, before the policy, we cannot have timelines. So we have to wait until 24th when we start the dialogue on the policy. Exactly. I'll invite the leadership of both the majority and the minority to be part of the discussion so that you are able to also contribute. Oh, yes, he will come. So that he will be able to share his experiences and then also bring to bear what you want the policy to have. It's a big dialogue, and every important person in this space will be invited, including the minority leader. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
Mr. Speaker, if the minister is unable to share with us whether there will be district level, zonal, zones and agro-processing hubs, just because it's not been launched, that is it. That's fine. And it's also clear that since he was sworn in January, he's telling us that she's yet to.
Honorable Minority,
that's fine.
Honorable
that's fine.
Minority Leader, with all due respect, I mean, as a leader, I always advent your mind to Order 88.7. I always advent your mind to Order 88.7 that you cannot address the House, you can't raise any argument or offer an opinion when a member is asking question. These are things prohibited by the rules. So let's go by the rules.
Speaker, we always guided. Mr. Speaker, the minister just shared with us in an answer by saying that indeed, since he took office, this policy has not been rolled out yet. And then she also indicated that it is only at the launch that some of the issues will come up. Mr. Speaker, may I therefore know from her whether, as part of the policy, there is a specific strategy to link local agro-industrial production with international markets, particularly under the African Free Continental Trade Area framework.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area is already working. And as part of the mandate of the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, we are supposed to link local industry to take advantage of what AFTA presents. This does not need the agribusiness policy for same to happen. I'm happy to inform the House that we are already linking businesses to international community, and this does not need the policy. AFTA is on course. We are doing harmonization. We are helping people to be export ready, to take advantage of what AFTA presents. And so we don't need that policy. The policy is okay to maybe help other people to come on board, but this is going on already, and we are doing a lot in that space of Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which we are happy to host as a country. The headquarters of Africa Continental Free Trade Area is in Ghana, and we are taking advantage of that to help people export more. I thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, may I know from the Honorable Minister?
Honorable Minority Leader. with all due respect, the rule says you are entitled to 5 questions. And you have asked 5 questions.
Mr. Speaker,
I can remind you of the gist of the questions.
Mr. Speaker, with respect to you, this is my 5th question. You disallowed one.
I never disallowed any
No, you
question.
did. You said that one was so. I withdrew that.
No,
So this is the 5th.
I never disallowed
Mr.
any
Speaker,
question.
you may guide us. This is the 5th question.
Yes. First,
Yes.
your question was the targeted support. Second, what informed the opinion in choosing Techima? 3, why was Techima chosen for the acquisition of the land? 4, the district level this thing. Then the 5 is the local production linking with the international markets.
Mr. Speaker, with respect.
Am I right?
Mr. Speaker, you are not right. With respect. Mr. Speaker, don't let us go in on a certain part. The mood is not good for controversy. Mr. Speaker, on the Techima issue, one was withdrawn. She came to insist. So this is the final one. Let me proceed to end the day on that.
Yes, but honorable member, if you ask a question and the
Mr.
minister
Speaker,
said...
she decided to, because that was withdrawn. She decided to go to emphasize that. So this is the 5th question. This is the final question, with respect. Mr. Speaker, I want to know from the honorable minister whether the ministry has conducted...
minister withdrew the question or I overrule you?
Which one?
Minister withdrew the question or I overrule you? Or you have withdrawn the question?
Yes, that's what I did.
After answering?
No, she decided to go to emphasize the same point again. It wasn't based on the question. This is my faith. Please.
You may ask your last question.
Very well. Mr. Speaker, are you participating in the process? Mr. Speaker, I want to know from the minister whether the ministry has conducted any baseline assessment of existing agro-processing capacity across the country. And if so, how is this informing the rollout of the policy? What I'm saying is that has your ministry conducted any baseline assessment of the existing agro-processing companies and their capacity across the country? And if so, how is this informing the rolling out of the policy? That's my final question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the capacities of all companies that have registered with the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry is a matter of fact, which is available. And I will say that the provision of agro parks is informed by the need of other countries and the possibility of export and also for import substitution. So it's not the availability of the agro-processing capacity alone that guides the institution of agro parks, but the need of the country as well as the availability of market for same to be exported. I thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Jerry Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Jerry.
Sorry.
Yes, Honorable Aguja.
Mr. Speaker, we spent nearly 2.5 hours simply because the respected leader of the minority decided to litigate on an issue which is actually an issue which we shouldn't have done. And then he took so long. Mr. Speaker, the House has got ministers of state also as members here. We see regularly colleagues insisting that ministers of state who are members of parliament should sit here. Mr. Speaker, is this the best way to spend 2.5 hours? Isn't it the case that democracy should be practiced with some responsibility? Mr. Speaker, it should never be the case that the fact that we have liberties as leaders, we can be taken on a ride. We can be taken on a ride where a leader can hijack the House and go on his own frolic for 2.5 hours and expect all of us to sit here and be listening. Mr. Speaker, I think that leadership should work on this. It is just not fair. Everybody says members of parliament are stressed and it's affecting our health. Why can't this affect our health? Mr. Speaker,
the next time there are questions, Mr. Speaker, when you see any of us on a tangent that is leading to nowhere, I suggest that you stop us in our track. This is not fair. It is not fair.
Very well,
Nobody,
Honorable Minister.
We've all been in leadership before.
Yes,
I've been a leader
Minister,
before.
your
This is not the
point
way
is
we
well
conduct
noted.
ourselves.
Your point is well noted. Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, our rules are very clear. Order 77. 77.1 says a minister, a member, or the head of an independent constitutional body shall, by order of the House, attend a sitting of the House to answer a question. But 2 is what is appropriate here. Question time shall ordinarily not exceed 1 hour. 1 hour. Question time shall ordinarily not exceed 1 hour, except that the Speaker may permit a question after the expiration of the time stated. So, Speaker, I think that it is time for us to begin to respect our own rules. Question hour is 1 hour. 1 hour. So, Mr. Speaker, henceforth, this side, I will insist on the 1 hour rule. I will insist on the 1 hour rule, and questions will be asked. After 1 hour, we'll move on to other business of the House. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge you, today is an exception, but subsequently, we'll insist on the 1 hour rule. And it's only under exceptional circumstances that we will accept questions to be asked after 1 hour. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Minority Whip.
Speaker, we listen to the leader of the House, and a matter raised by the former whip that we had gone beyond the stipulated period of Order 77.2, and the leader corroborates the point. However, the leader read 77.1, and he emphasized rightly that the relevant order is 77.2. Speaker, 77.2 does not give the leader any discretionary powers. No. Those powers are in the hands, in the bosom of the Speaker. In fact, leader, we can forgive you for your error. But Speaker, we want to put it to him. I'm looking to his face and tell him straight. Those powers are not in his hands.
What is the error in this?
Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, Order 77.2, question time shall ordinarily not exceed 1 hour, except that the Speaker may permit a question after the expiration of time stated. Where does it mention the majority leader? Where is your locus? For you to say that we will not accept. Where is your powers? Leader, we know you are the leader of the House. That's why we will not compete with you. We respect you. Don't seek to claw away some powers of the Speaker. Speaker, you should know his boundaries.
Honorable Minority
and his boundaries are defined.
Honorable Minority
Speaker, he is seeking to take away your powers.
Honorable Minority
The next moment he will stage a coup.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip. The House sits for a stated period, unless extended by the Speaker. Is it misplaced when a member gets up to remind the Speaker whether to exercise the discretion to extend the time or not to extend the time?
Speaker, with respect, the words of our respected leader does not constitute a reminder. He said, I will insist. That cannot be interpreted to mean a reminder.
Yes.
So if it is the case that he's withdrawing,
when he said
and he
he's
says that he wants to
insisting,
remind you,
when he said he's insisting, and I used the standing order to extend the period, what happened?
Speaker, we are in your hands.
Honorable Jerry Ahmed, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister of Trade and Agribusiness if at all there has been any acquisition of any parcel of land, where and how much is involved in the acquisition. Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Lands have been earmarked for the project, not costed, not bought. Thank you.
Can we move to question 6B, standing in the name of Dr. Isaac Yao Opoku, Member of Parliament for Ofinsu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for granting me the space. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry what steps the ministry is taking to curb the resurgence of inferior cement into the market. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in response to the resurgence of inferior cement on the market, the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, through the Ghana Standard Authority, has adopted several strategic measures aimed at curbing this menace and ensuring that only high-quality cement products are available to customers. Firstly, inspections and sampling at cement manufacturing companies have been significantly increased. In April 2025, a nationwide round of unannounced inspection was conducted. These inspections covered all cement manufacturing companies across the country. A total of 82 samples were collected directly from factories for testing, while additional samples were purchased from market outlets and distributors to assess the quality of cement being sold to the general public. Secondly, surveillance inspections have been intensified. These inspections are carried out spontaneously to verify the appropriate composition ratios used in the production of cement and to examine the raw materials involved in the manufacturing process. Surveillance inspections provide critical real-time information about the actual composition of the cement output. The most recent surveillance operation was conducted between 6th of May and 15th of May 2025 by the Ghana Standards Authority. Thirdly, the scope and depth of product testing has been expanded. A variety of testing methods are now used to ensure cement products meet required standards. During last sampling exercise, all 82 samples underwent rigorous testing, including physical and chemical analysis, as well as advanced techniques such as X-ray, fluorescence, and X-ray diffraction. These tests are particularly focused on verifying the composition of the cement, which is often the area of great concern in substandard products. Lastly, Ghana Standard Authority, under the direction of the ministry, has enhanced its field enforcement capacity through deploying trading standard inspectors. Cement surveillance and price verification activities have already been carried out in several towns, including Goso, Sehi, Yoso, Takrade, Nsawam, Dodowa, and Nkoko. To support these efforts, an additional cohort of over 300 inspectors were commissioned on 3rd May 2025. These inspectors have been trained in enforcement protocols and will be deployed to various metropolitan, municipal, and district assembly once all administrative procedures related to the employment are finalized. This expansion will further strengthen regulatory oversight and bring enforcement activities closer to consumers throughout the country. I thank you.
Any supplementary question?
So, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the comprehensive response. But, Speaker, if you remember, sometime in 2023, Ghana Standards Authority asked the 3 companies to shut the Honorable Minister whether he would consider publishing the results of Ghana Standards Authority to allay the fears of consumers, because we don't know what we are buying. There are so many products on the market, and we don't know
Honorable
the quality
Minister,
of.
you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the question. Yes, it will not spoil anything, except to say that after each analysis has been done, any cement factory that is producing substandard cement will not be allowed to sell their cement or will close it down. So immediately anybody produces substandard cement, we will ensure that we protect customers. But of course, it will not spoil anything if we publish and say that they are doing well or are not doing well. Thank you very much.
Any further question?
Yeah. Very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to find out from the Minister what is the frequency of inspection?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is usually done every quarter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kinsilinyako.
Mr. Speaker, in the responses of the Honorable Minister, she indicated that as part of the measures the ministry is taking to ensure that we have quality cements on our market, they embark upon unannounced visits, and they've also intensified their surveillance operations. I'd like to know from her if she will be kind now to let us know the outcomes of these unannounced visits and the surveillance intensification. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me repeat that portion which says unannounced inspections. It's not unannounced visits by me. I indicated that the Ghana Standard Authority that has mandate to check the quality of cement that we produce in Ghana. But the report of the analysis they did, the 82 analysis that they did, came out very well. I did not get a report of any of the companies so far producing substandard cement. But anytime that happens, I will instruct Ghana Standard Authority to do the needful. Thank you very much.
With respect, subsequent to...
Honorable Member, you don't have the floor to ask a second supplementary question.
It's not a second.
Any other member having... Yes, Honorable Kwajo Opon Nkrumah. Honorable Kwajo Opon Nkrumah.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, under Act 328, the Department of Factories Inspectorate has power to do inspections when it comes to occupational work and safety, which includes materials being used. Is the ministry considering any collaboration in your surveillance exercise with the DFI?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think that it's in order if the ministry Ghana Standard Authority especially, that has the mandate to do this, collaborate to ensure that we get a better effect of the what both authorities do. I don't see anything wrong with the collaborating and do that. So I think it's something that I'll take it in my stride and then look at.
Honourable members, let's move to the regular questions. Number 20. Standing in the name of Honourable Davis Ansa Opoku, Member of Parliament for Mpraiso.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to ask. The Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the steps the ministry is taking to operationalize the Rural Enterprise Factory and Mpraiso in the Greater Kwahu Enclave. Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the factory at Mpraiso is one of the 58 empowering novel agribusiness-led employment for youth factories being established by the Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry under the Rural Enterprises Program, with financial support from International Fund for Agriculture Development, IFAD. The Mpraiso Enable Youth Factory is dedicated to processing bananas into banana chips for both domestic and export markets. The construction of the factory was completed in 2023 to promote the long-term sustainability of the Enable Youth initiative and, by extension, ensure a good return on investment for the country. In line with this objective, the ministry resolved to engage private sector operators to manage and operate the factories under lease agreements. To that end, the ministry invited proposals through 2 separate advertisements. Daily Graphic of Wednesday, 18th October 2023, and Ghanaian Times of November 31 July 2024, from the private sector for the management and operation of the factories, including the one at Mpraiso. However, neither advertisement attracted private sector interest in the Mpraiso facility. Consequently, the ministry issued 4 additional advertisements. Daily Graphic on Monday, 10th March 2025, Ghanaian Times on Tuesday, 11th March 2025, Daily Graphic of Wednesday, 16th April 2025, and Ghanaian Times of Thursday, 17th April 2025. Once again, inviting proposal from the private sector for the management and operation of the factories, including Mpraiso. As of the deadline indicated in the advertisement, 3 companies, happily now, Mr. Speaker, have submitted proposals for the management of the Mpraiso facility, and these are currently under evaluation. All facilities under the Enable Youth Program operate within the agribusiness sector, and the ministry remains fully committed to ensuring their sustainable operation. To support this objective, the ministry is preparing to roll out the Feed the Industry program, which will serve as the anchor initiative for ensuring a consistent supply of sustainable high-quality raw material to all Enable Youth factories. I thank you very much.
Any further question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in light of the Mpraiso Enable Youth Factories focus on banana processing, I wish to ask the Minister what specific steps her ministry is taking to support banana farmers in the Mpraiso area to ensure a sustainable and adequate supply of raw materials for the factory.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Like all the other Enable You factory, the Feed the Industry program will help the banana producers around that enclave to be able to feed the industry. So when it gets to that time, I'll be working closely with the MP for Mpraiso to ensure that the factory in your area is taken care of. I thank you very much.
Any further questions?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I wish to thank the Minister for the responses. Just to add that she mentioned some advertisements that went on radio, in the newspaper. I would urge the minister that, subsequently, probably maybe MPs and MMDCs in this area should also be engaged. We come from a very industrial area. Our people are very enterprising. And I was surprised that the first advert will not get people, second advert will not. But I thank the minister that today we have 3 companies that are interested in the Mpriso processing plant. I want to find out some timelines for the evaluation process and when these factories will be operationalized. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. To assure the MP from Mpriso that we are acting expeditiously to ensure that this happens in a very short time. I thank you very much.
We thank the minister for attending to this very important question. Thank you. Hey, it's very, very important for my people. They are watching the minister. She was there this Easter to launch the Coal Business Forum. So they are watching her. Next year when she comes, let's
move to question number 21, item number 721. Standing in the name of Honorable Dr. Tia Abdul Kabiru Mahama, Member of Parliament for Wale Wale. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I ask this question on behalf of the people of Wale Wale and the watermelon farmers, and to ask the Minister of Trade, Agribusinesses and Industry the steps being taken by the Ministry to ensure operationalization of the Wale Wale watermelon factory that was recently commissioned under the One District, One Factory policy. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Wale Wale watermelon factory is operated by Champion Food and Beverages Limited, a wholly Ghanaian-owned company engaged in beverage manufacturing, distribution, and marketing. Incorporated in December 2019, the company was established to process watermelon into concentrate under the One District, One Factory initiative and is located in Loagri, near Wale Wale, in the West Mampu district of the Northeast region. Another factory by the same company was to be established in Tema to further process the concentrate and package it into juice for the local market. Mr. Speaker, through the Exim Bank of Ghana, the government has so far provided financial support totaling 50 million cedis to facilitate the acquisition of essential machinery and equipment for the project at Wale Wale. While mechanical works have been completed, a few components are still required to finalize the installation of the processing. To address outstanding issues and ensure the successful operationalization of the factory, the ministry, under my leadership, invited the company for discussion. During the discussion, the company indicated that the expected amount from Ghana Exim was not released on time, leading to delays in the completion of the project. Following this engagement, the ministry initiated discussion with Exim to facilitate further funding necessary for the project's completion. Mr. Speaker, as part of the discussion with the company, the ministry has further advised the company to install a juice processing component for the local market in Wale Wale instead of transporting the totality of the concentrate to Tema for processing into juice. This strategic shift is aimed at significantly reducing production costs and positioning the company to operate effectively within the 24-hour economy framework. In addition, the ministry has encouraged the company to diversify its operations to include other agro-processing produce, thereby enhancing its long-term sustainability. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to inform this August House that following the ministry's intervention, the company is in China to finalize arrangements for the suppliers to complete an operationalized factory. The ministry remains fully committed to ensuring that this project becomes operational as soon as practicable. I thank you very much.
Any supplementary?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much, Madam Minister, for the assurance and reassuring message you've given to the people of Wala. I want to find out the 50 million facility that was given, how much does it stand on the cost of the factory based on the engagement you have had with the company, the Champion Food Factory? What is the total cost of the project now? You can, Mr. Speaker, I think this is more audible, right? I would like to find out from the minister what is the current cost for the company to start operation, that from start to operation, since the review of the 50 million Ghana cedi project that it was initially built to cost. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much for your question. The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, under the leadership of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, is poised to ensuring that this watermelon factory come on stream. The owners of the company tells me, with documentary evidence for now, even though after their return from China it may change, that they need 38 million more. I am interested in ensuring that they receive that kind of funding so that the factory can be operationalized. That is why I engage EXIM. And so as of now, the amount they need is 38 million. And I'm working with EXIM to ensure that we help them with that facility.
Any further question?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my last supplementary question has to do with the value change. Critical to the sustenance of that particular watermelon factory is the outgrower or the input component. The conceptualization of this project was also to support the downstream, where farmers are going to produce in the specification.
Honorable member asks a question. You are violating the rules.
Mr. Speaker, I'm mindful of that, and I'm asking the question because if I don't say that, she will never understand the question. What measures are you taking, or are you putting in place to ensure that outgrowers who are supposed to feed this particular factory are taken and catered for under the project? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Fortunately, the project took cognizance of the fact that raw materials had to be produced. And so EXIM has also given money to a commercial contract farmer. He will deal with the outgrowers to ensure that the community benefit from the project by farming or cultivating watermelon. That is why the ministry has even advised them that they can go beyond watermelons to other fruits so that it is more sustainable. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Honourable members. Yes. Honourable Minister for Roads and Highways.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to ask the Minister whether when the factory was commissioned on the 22nd of November, as reported, 2024, as reported by Daily Graphic, whether the factory has actually produced anything close to what it was built to produce.
Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the factory has actually not produced the juice yet. The factory is not ready yet because that factory is only... Mr. Speaker, as I provided for in my answer, there needs to be a second factory before this factory can even say it is being operationalized, because that factory is solely for the production of concentrates. We need the bottling company to be established before that is done. So I can say that it is not ready. I don't know what it was commissioned for. Mr. Speaker. But what I can say now as Minister for Trade is that there needs to be a second industry before we can operationalize this one. And we are working together to ensure that they have the full complement so that they can be profitable for everybody.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Minister in an answer said the factory for the production of concentrates and for the actual juice to be produced, there's the need for another factory. So, in the context of her own answer, is it her case that the factory as commissioned was fit for purpose in terms of it being ready to produce the concentrate?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The factory, as we speak now, is not ready to even produce the concentrate. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Minister may have to clarify to this House. In one breath, her answer is to the effect that the factory has what it takes to produce concentrate. But for the actual juicing, there must be a second factory. And he assured the House that that is being worked upon. She mentioned some 38 million cedis. By way of clarity, can the minister share with this House the exact reason why the factory, although has been commissioned, but cannot produce the concentrate specifically?
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to inform the House that I did not take part in the commissioning, and so I wouldn't know why the factory was commissioned without the readiness to produce. In my answer, I indicated, and I repeat a few of my sentences. While mechanical works have been completed, a few components are still required to finalize the installation of the processing. So I have indicated that the factory is not ready, even though it's built to manufacture or produce concentrate. So there is no ambiguity about my answer. There is no conflicting point in my answer. I have stated categorically that this is what the factory was meant to do, but my answer indicated clearly that it has not been finalized. The factory itself is not ready. I am happy as Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry.
Until that was the Trade, Agribusiness and Industry Minister answering questions in Parliament there. She has had a long day in Parliament responding to questions thrown from both sides of the House, particularly from the minority side of the House and the leader, Alexander Panyot-Mark, in relation to steps that the ministry is taking going forward. But earlier was also the long break concerning the use of dispatch boxes by members of Parliament. And when the House came back, the debate was finalized and a resolution was made. Christian Yali brought us all the update. But we have to end the update here, the proceedings here, from Parliament. Of course, it is continuing on our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. So log onto that platform to get all the updates, all the current happenings concerning Parliament there. But we are returning to normal programming on television. Thank you so much for staying with us on TV3. We're not going away yet. Parliament is still continuing on our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. My name is Noble Crosby Annan, and we return to normal programming now.